What if I told you that everything you've been told about artistic inspiration is a lie? That you don't have to sit around waiting for ideas to magically appear? Today we're busting the biggest myth that holds artists back, and I'll show you how to take control of your creativity once and for all. Have you ever sat down to create only to feel nothing? No ideas, no motivation, just a blank page staring back at you? So many artists believe that inspiration is completely out of their control, that it comes and goes like the wind and there's nothing we can do about it. We're told to wait for the perfect moment, for that spark of genius to strike. But what if I told you that's a myth? That you don't have to wait for inspiration to create incredible work. Today we're breaking down this myth that artistic inspiration is uncontrollable. I'll share why this belief holds artists back and how you can take charge of your creativity so you never have to sit around waiting for ideas again. So where did this myth come from? We romanticize the idea of inspiration for centuries. Think of the classic image of the artist staring off into the distance, suddenly struck by a brilliant idea. We hear stories of famous artists that have to wait for moments of creativity, like a painter who woke up with a masterpiece fully formed in their mind, or a musician who composed a song in one sitting. But what we don't hear about the thousands of hours that those exact same artists spent practicing, refining, and working even when they weren't inspired. The truth is, great artists aren't born from random moments of inspiration. It's built through consistent effort and practice. Waiting for inspiration can seriously hold you back in your art practice. The problem with the belief that inspiration is uncontrollable is that it keeps you stuck in a cycle of inaction. If you think you need to feel inspired before you can create, you might spend days, weeks, even months or years waiting for that elusive spark. Watching a blank canvas, scrolling for ideas, or feeling guilty for not making art. Over time, this mindset can really lead to creative stagnation, making it so much harder to start when inspiration does actually finally come. It creates this all or nothing trap where you feel like you're either completely ready or you don't create at all. Another issue with this mindset is that it adds so much unnecessary pressure on yourself. You might feel like your work has to come from a place of deep passion or be fueled by a groundbreaking idea, but in reality, some of the most incredible art is born from simply showing up and experimenting and trying. When you believe inspiration is fleeting, every creative session starts to feel like you have to produce something amazing. This kind of pressure can lead to perfectionism or hesitation, even creative burnout. Instead of allowing yourself to just explore and make mistakes and have fun and grow, you get stuck in this fear of not doing it right. But perhaps the biggest issue with waiting for inspiration is that it makes you completely dependent on something outside of yourself. It gives all that power away to external forces, to your mood, your energy levels, or even random moments of inspiration that may or may not come. Instead of trusting in your ability to create, you end up waiting for some magical moment to strike. But real creativity doesn't really work that way. It's not a creative reserve. It's something you can cultivate and nurture and call upon whenever you need it. The more you create, the more inspiration will come, not the other way around. The good news, you can train yourself to be inspired on demand. Okay, so the first way that I do this is that I create a ritual. For me, inspiration often comes when I have a consistent creative routine. This doesn't mean forcing yourself into strict schedules, but rather setting up these small repeating actions that signal to your brain that it's time to create. Maybe it's making a cup of tea before you paint, sitting down, maybe doing a meditation before you're doing an art session. I like to do it right when I enter the studio. Maybe it could be flipping through an art book or setting a timer for 10 minutes and doing just doodles with no expectation. Find a ritual that gets you into the creative zone. The next thing you have to do, and I know it's a bit cliche, but cliches exist for a reason, and that is just start before you feel ready. One of the biggest secrets of professional artists is that they don't wait to feel inspired. They just start. This could look like sketching random shapes or simply mixing colors on your palette and deciding on some parameters maybe for your artwork, such as creating old pictures in a new style using a limited palette, trying to cover the whole canvas as fast as you can and then working from there. One huge secret that I'll let you in on is that I often find that inspiration doesn't strike before I start. It comes after I've already begun. Another thing that it can help is exposing yourself to new ideas. Inspiration drives on input, and if you're feeling stuck in your mind, you could go for a walk out in nature. You can observe textures, colors, and patterns there are to offer out in nature. Or it could look like visiting a gallery or a museum, or looking online. Maybe it's reading a book or listening to music outside of your usual genres. Your brain makes connections between ideas when you least expect it, but only if you give it new material to work with. The next idea is to make an intentional creative habit. Inspiration really is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. If you make art only when you feel like it, your creativity will always feel random and unreliable. But if you create regularly, even in small ways, inspiration becomes something you can access at any time. Some ways that you can do that is by setting a goal to create, say setting a 10-minute timer, or keeping a sketchbook where you jot down random ideas or drawings, even if they seem silly. Or, giving yourself permission to make bad art really goes a long way too, because sometimes the best ideas really come from unexpected places. That it's not some mystical force that appears when it feels like it. It's something that you can encourage and build and invite into your process. Instead of thinking I can't create because I'm not inspired, maybe try these positive affirmations, have them around your studio or in your bathroom mirror. I can create even if I don't feel inspired yet. Inspiration comes when I start working, not before. I am in control of my creativity. And the more you believe this, the more you realize that you never have to wait for inspiration again. Here's my challenge for you and me. Let's not wait for inspiration. Let's create something today. Anything, even if it's just small, even if it feels unimportant, because the more you show up for your creativity, the more it will show up for you. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What do you do when you feel uninspired? Let's chat or shoot me a DM. And if this video resonated with you, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and come back for more creative mindset content next time. Remember, today is a great day to go and make some art, and I'll see you in the next video. I am sending you so much love. Bye.